Here's something that John Jay wrote in Federalist paper number 2. I think this is salient because, congressmen cannot enforce prayer. They cannot enforce you to believe Jesus and believe God the way that I believe it. John Jay recognized something, and he's one of the framers. And here's what he recognized. He writes, "With equal pleasure, I have as often taken notice that Providence," referring to God here, "has been pleased to give this one connected country." Now, if you read the Federalist paper before that, he's actually talking about how this country is connected, how the mountains kind of slip into the valleys and then the rivers and everything's connected and the lakes. And you got this beautiful country that's all connected. So he says, in the same way that that's connected, I see this one connected country, I'm quoting here, to one united people. A people descended from the same ancestors, speaking the same language, professing the same religion, attached to the same principles of government, very similar in their manners and customs, and who by their joint counsels, arms, that's weapons, right, and efforts, fighting side by side throughout a long and bloody war, he's talking about the Revolutionary War there, have nobly established general liberty and independence, end quote. Now notice a few things he says here. He says that they have descend from the same ancestors. Now, you had Dutch, you had Irish, you had Italian, you had, I don't know if you had Italian necessarily at that one. Yeah, probably had some. Englishmen, okay? You had Scots, you had Indians in the Revolutionary War, you had blacks, you had all kinds of people, okay? All these people, and he says, descended from the same ancestors. What does that mean? Descended from the same ancestors. Well, the Christian has the better answer to that, does he not? Who are we all descendants of? Adam and Eve. What do we all have in common? Our humanity. So here you have one of our founding fathers and the framers talking in this way, speaking the same language, right? Because that's important. Yeah, but we have a world now where, one of the things that we noticed, and this is very odd, and I don't know exactly what to make of it, but when we were at the Capitol, it was unbelievable the amount of foreign people that we ran into there. And almost none of them were speaking English. It was weird. You'd hear a language here, a language there, a language there, a language. Everybody's kind of speaking their own thing, and it's like, well, that's strange, because it's not that you can't have your, another language. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with that. We don't have an official language. But there's something to, are we saying the same thing? Do we believe the same thing? Are we speaking the same way? Okay. And in a country right now where so many people are coming in and we don't know where they're coming from and why they're here. Okay. Do they understand the Constitution? I would say probably not, because a lot of Americans themselves that live here, been born here, don't get it. And so we're losing something there. Well, the other thing that he says here, he says, professing the same religion. There, again, it's belief in God. And so this is something that we have and that we share together, attached to the same principles of government, very similar in their manners and customs. And then at the end, look what he says. I love this. He says, have nobly established general liberty and independence. General. So even though, I might believe a particular thing about the Bible, I want general liberty and independence for all people. But I believe the Christian is in the best position to do that, because the Christian never lets go of the roots of what we have in our Constitution, in our Declaration of Independence, and in our Bill of Rights.